On the morning of June 21st, 1933, the quiet town of New Carlisle, Ohio, became the scene of a crime that would help launch one of the most infamous crime sprees in American history. The man behind it was John Dillinger. Just 6 weeks after being paroled from prison, Dillinger and his gang carried out a daring robbery at the New Carlisle National Bank, a crime that would mark the beginning of his rise to national notoriety. What happened in this small Ohio town helped set the stage for the legend of the man who would soon be called America's public enemy number one. In 1933, America was in the depths of the Great Depression. Banks were failing, unemployment was widespread, and Americans had lost faith in financial institutions. In this environment, criminals like John Dillinger gained national attention by robbing banks and evading law enforcement across state lines. But Dillinger's now famous crime spree had to start somewhere. And for many historians, New Carlisle, Ohio, marks the true beginning. In May of 1933, Dillinger had just been paroled from the Indiana State Prison after serving 8 years for robbery. Within weeks, he had reconnected with the members of his old criminal network. Their first target would be a small-town bank in Clark County, Ohio. Unlike the dramatic daytime robberies that Dillinger would later become famous for, the New Carlisle job was planned with patience and stealth. According to historical accounts, Dillinger and several accomplices entered the New Carlisle National Bank the night before the robbery. The gang allegedly snuck into the building through a back window and quietly waited inside the dark bank for morning to arrive. As employees began for work the next day, they were suddenly confronted by armed men who had already taken control of the building. The element of surprise gave the gang complete control of the situation. The robbery itself was swift and efficient. Employees were ordered to cooperate while the gang gathered cash from the vault and teller drawers. Within minutes, the robbers had secured approximately $10,600. In today's terms, that amount would equal roughly $241,000. Once the money was secured, Dillinger and his accomplices prepared for their escape. But they had one more trick planned to slow down anyone who tried to chase them. As the gang sped out of New Carlisle, they scattered roofing nails across the road behind them. The sharp nails were meant to puncture the tires of pursuing police cars, giving the robbers a crucial head start. The tactic worked. By the time authorities organized a response, Dylan and his gang were already gone. The robbery had taken only minutes, but marked the beginning of something much larger. The New Carlisle robbery became the first major step in John Dillinger's criminal rampage across the Midwest. Over the next year, him and his gang would rob banks, stage daring prison escapes, and evade law enforcement in multiple states. The wave of crimes eventually led the federal government to label Dillinger the nation's first Public Enemy Number 1. His story would dominate newspaper headlines across the country. But it all started with that small bank in New Carlisle. Today, the building where the robbery took place still stands. It sits at the southeast corner of Main Street and Jefferson Street, at 100 East Jefferson Street in New Carlisle. The historic structure now houses a gift shop known as Abe's Hidden Treasures. Visitors who stop by can still see several features connected to the robbery. The original night deposit box remains, and locals point out the window the gang is believed to have snuck inside the bank the night of the robbery. A historical plaque on the building commemorates the event, although longtime residents often note that the marker contains a small mistake. It lists the robbery as occurring on June 10, 1933, instead of the historically accepted date of June 21, 1933. For most people passing through New Carlisle today, the building looks like any other small-town storefront. But nearly a century ago, it was the starting point of a crime spree that would make John Dillinger one of the most famous outlaws in American history. And it all began right here.